Namaste people, welcome to the show Get Set Green. I'm your host Pooja R V. This podcast was created as a part of Podcast Lab by India Film Project in association with Anchor by Spotify.
Yeah, I understood the fact, and I like the part that it varies. And also you mentioned about sustainable, same electricity in that place, and also water management system, that is rainwater. Can you please tell me like how exactly do you do in these terms?
So electricity, as we I think most of the people by now they know electricity by wind, electricity by solar is very common.
Yeah.
Even on small scale, people are doing it now. There are even windmills wherein they give every day 5 liters of water also, which is collecting by the atmosphere itself, not even rain, just
Yeah.
the moisture which is in the
Correct.
atmosphere being collected, and every day you get 5 liters drinking water, which is good. So there is so much technology when it comes to the electricity part and this thing. When it comes to rainwater harvesting, this is one of the major and important thing in life to everyone right now, because in every city, even in villages, the groundwater is gone below. Like, let's say in olden days, if it is everyone used to use river, then they used open wells. Then now here they're using bore wells. The more and more they're going deeper, you get heavy metals in the water, which is not healthy for the people and everything. So that's the reason most of the people now drink filtered water. They don't know, other than filter water, they can't even think of drinking other water at all.
Yeah.
So being in a completely abundant country, we are not even in Dubai, but still we are buying water for ourselves in this generation itself. But what is the water other than groundwater? What are we left with? That is rainwater. So rainwater is everywhere and for everyone, be it Dubai or here. Maybe the rainfall may changes. Here the rainfall may be less, in some place the rainfall may be more, but the rainfall is there.
Yeah.
That is there everywhere. So you should be prepared for the rain. Like, whenever you get the rain, according to your need, again, once you analyze your need and how much capacity you can store in the soil, in the tanks, and in the land, in the trees, in the form of animals, and in you also, there is 70% water. So how much you can store, you store it. Whatever you don't need, you recharge the land, you recharge the soil, and you recharge the aquifers and everything. But don't let it run. If the water is running, you slow it down, sink it, recharge the space. If you can collect, store, use the rainwater. Don't, like, when you have rainwater, why do you want to use the bore water? Because in aquifer, like, let's say in the groundwater is limited, it's not an unlimited source.
Yes.
That is the reason every day the borewell depth is going below, right? But when it comes to the rainwater, you can catch and store, the energy based on your need
I
and
have
based on the
one.
rainfall in that
Yeah.
particular.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have one more point to this. When we start storing all the rainwaters like that, so usually what was the previous way was it will flow from the high regions and it will go on until it will reach the ocean.
Yes.
I am thinking that if everyone taking hypothetical situation that let's say if all Indians are doing that, storing and using all that, will it not affect that the terrain through which the water used to pass, the lower regions will not be getting, or like sometimes the path which how it will go to the oceans, right? All these rivers and other water bodies, will it not affect that? Because there the amount of water reaching will be less, no?
Okay, you have to understand another fact to it.
Okay.
So before, the forest cover and tree cover was more, like there was lot of tree cover and vegetative cover on the planet. Now, when there is vegetative growth, most of the water is taken care there itself. Then whatever is left, then that will run. That is also won't run. It will slowly pass the waste, whatever you are talking. But now when you are cutting down all the space in the city, even if it rains for half an hour, it feels like okay, it's full. Like, it feels like, oh, it has rained a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
Some drainages, if it is clogged, then you get a lot of water. Here, in fact, the more you catch, the more you save, because in olden days, the when the tree cover and vegetative cover were more, the water is taken care here, but now there is no system like that. If all Indians do that, then it will be a big change that will help the planet more than just releasing the water. And as I mentioned before, there is no such thing as the lower in, let's say, even if the water in Himalayas comes to the Hindu or this Bay of Bengal, it is not affecting any other place because the rain is everywhere. It's not just on the Himalayas. Only not that water is coming, in what is in the capsules, ice capsules, only that water is not coming. There is something called base flows in the rivers. There is something called, every place is adding to it, not just one place. In fact, even in the lower places in the coast, there is more vegetative growth, so there is more rainfall than the higher elevated places. So the rainfall is everywhere, it's not just in one place.
Yeah, okay. So, like, you following all these aspects in tribe culture, like, can you tell me, like, what is the main thing one has to, like, follow, or one has to, like, inculcate in their behavior to adapt to this culture?
Just plant trees. Just plant trees, that's it. That will give major solution. Plant trees, take care of the, that is what is missing right now.
Hmm.
Major thing is, that is what is, just plant trees, that will give solution to. So the problems of the world may be so much complicated, but the solutions, all the solutions are very simple. Like,
Okay.
you just be mindful and do the needful, then it's done.
Like the very small sentence saying, like, just plant the trees. By that we can understand how important is that
Yeah,
one particular ecosystem product, which is like a tree, is maintaining so much. Yeah, that gives
it
a
will
lot
give
of.
shelter to all other life. It can give you food. What not it can do, that is what is the home for so much life, and that is what is food for, so many other life. And
Yeah.
trees, like, they are, I don't know, the more you read about them, know about them, the
Hmm?
more you fall in love with them.
Yes.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
true. It's true. And one
yeah.
more thing, like, can you tell anything about your project which you have done? Can you share experience of it? Like, it's not just easy. You have to, like, whatever the land is there, you have to make them convince, first to do all those things. And people might be skeptical because this is not something which we have been doing from a long time. And third part is that aesthetic point of view, because at the end of the day people like which looks good, not only in terms of all this agriculture, but yeah, we need good looking and proper organized, properly maintained stuff. How do you do about that? Like, how do you go on with this?
So we do have so many challenges, especially handling people, because I am sure we all come up, like, in every field, not just this field, in every field, handling the people is one of the skill, one of the most challenging factor, I can say, because one thinks one way and the other thinks the other way completely. But sometimes people who are working for the same cause may choose two different ways. They both are working for the same cause, but they may be working in two different ways, and both may work, right? So here, working with the clients, we, like, in the tribe, we don't like to convince or make them, okay, you do this, that. We never do that. What we do is, we give them enough information and knowledge about that particular project or that particular land, soil, water. Okay, this is your terrain, this is what is good to the land and to you also, even in terms of management, even in terms of aesthetics, even in terms of resilience and abundance. Like, let's say, if you have completely silt soil, okay, it will take this much time. If you have complete rocky soil, to build the soil, it will take this much time. To establish trees, it will take this much time. And some people may have economical factors involved. We can't invest so much. If you want to plant trees, let's say, even if you, say 50 rupees per plant, and if you want to plant 1 acre, some people may not afford it. So some people, what we do, we suggest them to go phase wise. Some people, who can afford, they can go completely at one phase, and start expecting the returns after 1 year or 2 years.
Hmm.
But here, the end goal is making the forest ecosystem where you live in harmony with the system
Hmm.
and least management. Like by the years pass, the management should go down.
Hmm.
The microclimate should increase. So the more trees you have, the more rain you get in the landscape, because
Okay.
that evapor transportation and
Yeah.
everything happens, right? So even in even in the drylands and everything, the rainfall can happen
Hmm.
when the communities work together.
Correct. Sir, like I understood this part. When it comes to like after the completion of all these projects, like economic factor is one that adds. That's what I understood from this phase. And one more thing is that like since you don't use any fertilizers and all those pesticides, where to maintain plants we need certain input, right? To like manure kind of thing. How is that part maintained in your tribe permaculture?
So it's not just about the tribe, like let's call permaculture. Like
Okay,
it's
yeah.
not just about the tribe.
Hmm.
So what I said in the beginning, or what we follow is forest. That is the teacher.
Hmm.
So if you see the forest floor, who is fertilizing it? If
Like
you see
all
the
the dead
forest,
leaves and dead animals decompose and then they become. Huh.
so that is what we follow here. Like
Okay.
wherever you find that dry material, we collect it.
Hmm.
We make sure we compost it and put it back to the soil. And if there are some animals, we use that cow dung and all that
Hmm.
wherever it is available. So
Hmm.
those are the simple things. All the solutions we have in the forest. We are doing nothing new. We are not using so much new technology and
Yeah.
everything. We are just following the forest, and all the answers are right there. If there is a pest in the forest, what is it doing? So
Hmm.
some plants are attracting it, some plants are repelling it.
Yes.
Like
Hmm.
some plants are abundant, some plants are hosting it. So you need to again understand the plants, which what plant is doing what insect is doing what. Insects also, they eat themselves.
Oh.
So if you know one insect is eating the other, you know what kind of population you need.
Hmm.
Sometimes we may involve some of the insects, I mean if it's necessary, but we never did so far. But
Hmm.
some people, they do, they get the eggs of some insects which are predator, then they manage the ecosystem like that.
Sir, one thing, like, is it done like, we will get all those compost bins wherein we put all our compostable organic waste and then again you put back into the soil, or is it like the arrangement is made in such a way that as and when like there is tree leaves, like it decomposes on its own, like how it happens in forest, right? Like how? Like,
Yes,
is it
yes,
done
yes.
manually or like do you take care of that?
Initially initially if you want fast process,
Hmm.
then if you want the process to be little fast, then you do it manually, within 1 week 2 weeks. If you can do it, then do it.
Hmm.
Naturally it will take some time, right?
Yeah.
So wherein you create a system, you design a system wherein that all happens automatically over the period of time. Because if I plant the tree to shed the leaves, it will take some time.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So that composting what we are talking, which is happening in the forest,
Hmm.
that will take time. Until it takes over, we have to give that additional input to the system.
Okay, so you have both the systems which can be done, right? Like one which is naturally happening. And one more thing, when it happens naturally, since it's not an like huge area like forest, can that sustain that natural way?
Yes,
Like.
it can. Yes, it can. So here there is not two system, it is only one system, but there are two stages to it.
Hmm.
One stage wherein you manage, the other stage you don't manage it. Once it established, then you don't have to manage it.
Yeah.
Until it established, you have to manage.
Okay, so yeah, until it will get sustained, like own maintain its own way. Till then, you will
Mm.
provide all the external support for
Yes,
that system.
yes, yes.
Okay, so yeah, this was like my quite long episode, I can say, and I really enjoyed this a lot because it was totally a new concept for me, and I got so much to learn today. And I'm really happy that you spent your precious time for us explaining all this stuff. Thank you so much,
Surely,
sir.
surely. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just give a brief summary of what happened today. Like, first thing is like we have three main concepts, which is earth care, people care, and fair share. So these are the main three ethics of permaculture. And then what happens is like we have to be more, conscious about what we do in our daily lives, and so that whatever the products we use and how we our being as a human beings is also a very important thing in this culture. And also the third part is like, not only this system can be achieved naturally, we can make sure that even if the system is not in the state where it can sustain in its own way, uh, tribe permaculture will play a role there. They will help you fulfill all the needs and requirements which you have for that particular piece of land. So
one thing I would like to add in the end.
yeah.
So here, if the land is good, everyone can offer you service. Like, everyone can do anything.
Yeah.
But we would like to take challenges. Like,
Mhm.
whatever the challenging land you have, let's say you have rock, you have soil where you can't grow anything. We
Mhm.
would like to take challenges and give solutions to it.
That's
So that is one thing we would love from our end.
that's wonderful spirit, to take up those challenges. Yeah, we are up for it and doing those things. Yeah, kudos to the team, and I hope
That is
that
what is
things will
permaculture is
come
all
on the
about,
way.
giving the solutions to the problems.
Yeah, I
It's not
hope
just
that.
about the tribe. That is what is permaculture is all about. All the people in permaculture, all the people,
Hmm?
they would love this.
Okay, to all the people in permaculture, kudos, you are doing a great job, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, with this, I want to conclude this episode. And thank you for listening, everyone. And thank you, sir, for doing this.
I will come up with a new show next week. So stay tuned.